big fight announcements in the world of MMA. Dana White went live yesterday to announce a couple of fights. If you watched yesterday's video, you would know that this is not the fucking news that I wanted. Far from it, if we're being honest. What I said in yesterday's video, make sure you go back and watch it if you haven't. I said if the UFC aren't dropping us news of Tom Aspinall, John Jones, and Ilya Topuria versus Islam Makhachev, keep the news. So they obviously are late to watch yesterday's upload because keep this shit. Don't hype me up. This is what the UFC have done, right? They tweeted out saying they're going to go live, so they threw the bait in the water, right? My dumb ass went up, swam to the hook. I've been hooked, yeah? I've been fucking hooked. I'm on the line. Reeled in. I'm thinking, oh, this is it. John Jones, Tom Aspinall. It's being announced. And then they drop this. This right here. No. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about one of the positives that was announced before we get on to the fucking negatives. Yeah? Let's start with this one. This isn't the matchup I wanted to see. I'm just going to be honest. But this is the fight that I expected to see because the UFC and Dana White in particular have been going on and on and on about this rematch. Which, it doesn't even really make sense. You know, I understand Sean O'Malley, former bantamweight champion. He defended the title once against Chito Vera. And no disrespect to Chito Vera's name and title fight should never be in the same sentence. I'm just going to be upfront and honest. From what we've seen in Chito Vera's ability recently, up to date, Chito Vera's name and title fight should never, ever, ever be spoken in the same sentence. That's Sean O'Malley's only title defense. It's not as if he was a long reigning champion, like an Adesanya, who got his immediate rematch, like a Kamaru Usman, who else? Like an Alex Pereira. That's not what Sean O'Malley was. There was a defending champion who Sean O'Malley beat in Aljamain Sterling, but the UFC fucked Aljamain Sterling in that matchup. You go back and watch the UFC's documentary and you'll know what I'm on about. The UFC fucked Aljamain Sterling over, who at the time was the greatest UFC bantamweight of all time. Do not try and tell me it's Dominic Cruz. If you try and tell me Dominic Cruz was the greatest bantamweight of all time when Aljamain Sterling fought Sean O'Malley, you don't know ball. Yeah? Dominic Cruz is overrated, but that's for a different video. But Aljamain Sterling defended the belt multiple times. Got fucked over in the matchmaking. Lost to Sean O'Malley. UFC didn't even bat an eyelid to give that guy his immediate title shot. Wasn't even a murmur. No one spoke about that. But Sean O'Malley, who wins the belt, beats Chito Vera. He gets his immediate title shot. Where Merab beats Sean O'Malley at UFC 306. And then the UFC fuck Merab over and have him basically, knowing he's injured, take a short notice matchup against Umar Nurmagomedov.
Bruh.
So Merab beats Sean O'Malley at UFC 306, which is one of the worst cards of all time, right? He beats him convincingly, if we're being honest. Sean O'Malley had moments. He had a good account of himself. But realistically, nobody watches that fight and says, Sean O'Malley beat Merab. Nobody on earth says that, right? So Sean O'Malley loses. He has been gone ever since, pretty much. Merab beats Umar Nurmagomedov on unfavourable circumstances, let's be honest. And then the UFC shake O'Malley's hand to go, congratulations, Merab's defended against Umar. You've just earned yourself a title shot.
Huh?
That's what this scenario seems like. I don't understand how the UFC are getting their matchmaking so wrong. It should be Merab Pantoja, champ versus champ super fight, while the flyweight division and bantamweight division sort out the next clear contenders. And the matchup that should have been made in the bantamweight division, and I'm going to say it till I'm fucking blue in the face at this point, Sean O'Malley, Petr Yan 2, over 5 rounds, was the fight to make. That was the fight to make, not this rematch. O'Malley, Yan 2, that is the best fight that can be made in the bantamweight division. Their first fight was fucking awesome. Sean O'Malley lost in my opinion, but he showed a really good account of himself. He showed that he is elite level in there with Petr Yan. And I'm going to be honest, The reason why I don't think we seen Jan O'Malley, or why I was even spoken about, was Sean O'Malley. I genuinely... Now, I'm not saying O'Malley's scared of Jan. Obviously not. The guy fucking fought Jan before. But what I'm saying now is, I think O'Malley knows how tough of a matchup Jan is. That I don't think Sean O'Malley is willing to fight Petr Yan unless there's a belt on the line. That's just my opinion. Now, in terms of who I think wins this rematch... I think Sean O'Malley has the best chance of beating Merab in the bantamweight division. Now, people might say, what about Umar if Umar didn't break his hand? The problem with Merab is, ever since this guy found out about running, you're not going to beat him over 25 minutes, in my opinion. To beat Merab, you have to fucking knock him out or sub him. And Sean O'Malley is the only guy in the top half of the UFC's bantamweight division that has that lights out power. It's Sean O'Malley. It's not Petr Yan. Petr Yan won't beat Merab because Jan's finishing ability isn't that great, if we're being honest. Great, well-rounded mixed martial artist, but his finishing ability isn't there. And Merab would just beat him up the same way he beat him up last time. Sean O'Malley, if Sean O'Malley can keep this fight on the feet for large portions of the fight and works on his, not only his takedown defense, his get-ups as well, I think we could see a completely different fight because Sean O'Malley does have that fucking shut-out, lights-out power. And he's a dynamic striker as well. I think if anyone's going to beat Merab in the bantamweight division, it is Sean O'Malley. Now, do I think that's going to happen? What is my early prediction for this matchup? Sean O'Malley knocks out Merab inside 2 rounds. That's my early prediction. Right, let's get this abomination out of the way. Look, to be honest, this will bring hype to UFC 316. And you know what? I know I'm shitting all over Merab versus Sean O'Malley too. But I am thankful in a sense because if this was headlining the card, God fucking bless. Yeah, God bless. Now, these girls will bring entertainment to the press conference. They will go back and forth. Juliana Pena isn't that bad of a talker on the mic. She's annoying as hell. But she can shit stir and create drama and create buzz, which, let's just be honest, is what we want at press conferences. Kayla Harrison's fucking arm is like my torso. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't know she was fucking yoked like that anyway. Kayla Harrison, sorry. I think if she doesn't finish Juliana Pena early, I think she could be in trouble. And this is no disrespect to Juliana Pena, she's fucking awful. I know she beat Amanda Nunes. Juliana Pena is fucking fart. This matchup is going to be a poor display of mixed martial arts if Kayla Harrison doesn't sub Juliana Pena early on. Like, I'm moving on because I have nothing nice to say about this fight. Moving on to this absolute fucking banger. We have got Ian Garry versus Carlos Prates, UFC Fight Night Kansas, April 26th. This is now the main event. I did see a report saying obviously Jamal Hill is out, but apparently him and Khalil Roundtree is being moved to UFC Fight Night Azerbaijan. Bruh. Which is such a weird fight to headline that card, but I'm all for it. I love this matchup. Look, I think Ian Garry beats Carlos Prates. People might say I'm biased because of where I'm from, but I think Ian Garry is really, really good. I really do, and it's not like oh, Ian Garry's this really good striker. Ian Garry's really good everywhere. And another thing that doesn't get spoke about when talking about Ian Garry is the guy's fight IQ. And he really showed how, like, it was such a mature performance. I don't know why I've used that word. Whenever he fought MVP. Now, was it entertaining? Was it fuck? It was boring as hell. But Ian Garry knew that I'm not going to outstrike MVP. I'm just not. I'm going to lose. So he mixed in his grappling, and I think we see that against Carlos Prates. I think Carlos Prates is dangerous on the feet. I really do. Although I think he is susceptible. Is that how you say the word? Septical? No, that's not how you say it. How the fuck? You know what word? How do you say that word? Susceptible? Let me see. There's my mic back on. I can't say that word, but you know what I'm trying to say anyway. Right? The straight punches. I think that's going to be money for Ian Garry. Straight punches and being very defensively sound, keeping your range. I know Ian Garry is big for the welterweight division, but he does have small arms. But keeping Carlos Prates at kicking range, chop at the legs, circle around, move around, because I think Ian Garry can have a lot of success in there against Carlos Prates in the later stages of the fight, because we haven't seen Carlos Prates go 5 rounds yet at a good pace in the UFC, and the guy smokes about 1,000 cigarettes a day, so I'm just going to go out here on a limb and say he doesn't have great cardio, especially in the later stages of the fight, where we have seen Ian Garry go 5 rounds at a decent pace. I think Ian Garry is going to beat Carlos Prates. I think either late stoppage or decision. Now, if Ian Garry tries to trade with Carlos Prates early on, if Ian Garry isn't defensively switched on, I can see Carlos Prates knocking him out. I really can. I think Carlos Prates on the feet is dangerous. I think his boxing is dangerous. His Muay Thai as well. And this guy has got some serious heat in his hands. But I'm just going to go off Ian Garry, who is more proven against elite level opposition. Like, what's Carlos Prates' best win? Jeff Neal? Not even Jeff Neal. Jeff Neal pulled out of the fight. Neil Magny. Neil Magny's his best win, where he hit him with that ghost punch. I'm backing Ian Garry. I think he's going to be defensively sound early on in the fight. And I think in the later half, we're going to see Ian Garry really put it on Carlos Prates. I'm going Ian Garry late stoppage or Ian Garry decision. But don't be surprised if Carlos Prates knocks him out inside 2 rounds. Finally, no, this isn't finally, I've got another wee topic to talk about. In terms of the fight announcements, Volkov's been absolutely bent over and scalped here, because after he got robbed against Cyril Gane, the UFC said, don't worry, we're going to sort you out, we're going to do right by you. And then they fuck the guy over, throw him under the bus and give him Almeida. Almeida's the guy that nobody really wants to fight. Now, what this means is we're getting Pavlovich versus Cyril Gane, which, I'm going to be honest, I know everybody wanted the UFC to feed Cyril Gane to Almeida, but in terms of fights to make in the heavyweight division that keep it moving, this is probably the right direction. Because that would mean Volkov Pavlovich too. Nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to see that. Now, Pavlovich versus Gane is going to be interesting, because I think Cyril Gane is really just going to show how good he is in that matchup. I think especially over 5 rounds, he styles on Sergey Pavlovich, and then that gives us hype for Gane eventually going into this matchup against Tom Aspinall. But honestly, if they do Gane Pavlovich and do Volkov Almeida, I think the winner of this deserves to fight Tom Aspinall over the winner of Gane versus Pavlovich, to be honest. And I think Volkov beats Almeida. I think Volkov, he's so much more proven. He's really worked on his grappling. On the feet, it's not even close. And I think if you can put up a good bit of resistance against Almeida, like what we've seen Curtis Blades do, I think you can break him. I think Volkov stops Almeida. That's my early prediction for this matchup. I can just see Volkov being able to stuff the takedowns, keep Almeida at range, and just them thudding shots of Volkov, the 1-2. I just see him TKOing Almeida. I think Almeida will shift for takedowns, Volkov will sprawl or get the underhook, be able to shake him off, have Almeida against the cage, just boom, boom, 1-2 thudding shots, maybe a body shot, maybe a knee as he comes in, and Almeida just crumbles against the cage. Referee steps in, calls it off. Now, this is being targeted for June the 14th in Atlanta. Is this the co-main event or main event? I'm not too sure. But finally, what I wanted to go over is this right here quickly. Dana White says the UFC is going to work with Meta to create a new ranking systems that will debut later this year. Now, we all know the UFC's ranking system is absolute dog shit, right? At the minute. I think with this partnership with Meta, I'm just going to be honest, I like the idea of having AI doing the rankings, but I think that this is going to be extremely biased towards the UFC and what they want the rankings to be. Don't be surprised if when these rankings come out, John Jones is number 1. Do not be surprised. Although, this could be interesting to see how the rankings work, but I just think they are going to be in favour too much of like Dana White's opinion and the UFC higher-ups' opinion, rather than the actual facts and what the collective of what the UFC's fan base is saying. You know what I mean? I think John Jones will probably end up being pound for pound number one when this list comes out, which is bullshit. But it says they're also working on other things with meta to enhance the experience for UFC fans. So I'm really looking forward to it. And Dana White is part of Meta's board of directors, I believe now. So this could be a fun partnership. I just think their ranking system is going to be absolutely dog shit. But yeah, that is the news on the UFC's front. Let me know your opinions in the comments below. What fights are you looking forward to? Who do you think wins these announced matchups? And as always, like, share, subscribe, comment. Thanks for all the support, and I'll see you again in the next one.